Phillips, Dahlia was sick. So we're just having a good old time up here. We're going to sing Our Souls Are Welcome Here, are they not?
Hey, good morning, morning, morning.
Want to hear your lovely voices. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. All right, y'all ready? Y'all get ready now. Stay ready. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul, loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. It's welcome here. My soul is 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 welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. And welcome, Reverend Janae. Thank you for sharing the platform with me this morning.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you, Reverend Deborah. Good morning. We greet you in the name of all that is beautiful and all that is sacred and all that is holy, and in the warm and loving presence of this ministry, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples and mosques and churches and stone circles and the beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. So if it's your first time with us, we want to especially welcome you here today, because we know that you're not here by accident, but by divine appointment. And I'd like to ask you to please silence any electronic devices, and there is no flash photography during the service. Thank you.
Well, let's take a moment now to center ourselves as we move into this service for today, as we come together to connect with the divine presence through whom we live and move and have our being. Our connection is eternal, never wavering. And as we turn our thoughts toward the presence, we can live in joy and wisdom and love and peace, because that is who we have come here to be, individual expressions of God, the one true source of all there is. As we set our intention to grow in consciousness, to join in divine consciousness with others, we expand our own good and the good of those around us. This energy, this boundless love, increases and flows out into our community and into the world. We know that each word, each thought, each action, said or done with love and compassion, brings each one of us closer to a world blessed with peace. We are grateful for this opportunity to come together with intention and move into this service in gratitude and joy. And we say, all is well, and all matter of things shall be well. And so it is. Spiritual Life Center has a mission, and you notice we've expanded it a little bit. Let's say it together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission through practicing the 5 unity principles. And we say them together each week to help us embody them, which helps us use them more in our everyday life. Let's say those together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
Thank you. So the third session of Deborah's wonderful class on mental healing is called Realization. So on Wednesday night, you're going to explore the Unity 5-step prayer process, examine the 5 Science of Mind prayer treatments, discuss how to make your own steps, experience the steps through short meditations and inner exploration. And this class has been extended to a 4-week class, and this is the 3rd in the series. The community meal starts at 6, and the program starts at 7, and we can't wait to see you there.
And remember, even though this is a class, there's no registration required, and no one is turned away, even though we have a suggested love offering. And you'd be okay coming into this without watching, but if you really want to be up on things, go on to YouTube and watch the class from last week. So our annual meeting is today. It starts at 1 o'clock. And this is always a milestone each year because we get to review our year and celebrate our successes. So we get to look forward to see what's coming up next year or for the foreseeable future. We will be electing a new board member to fill the spot that Sally Sion is leaving after her, I believe it's been 6 years that she's been on the board. So probably a well-earned break for Sally. Governing members vote. So if you have not renewed your governing membership yet, you have until noon today. You can go on our website and do that. So the form is live right now. So we will see you at the next meeting. Or at 1 o'clock. That's when we'll see you.
It's been a long
Janae,
morning.
I believe you have a youth update.
I do.
I'm going over here. Thank you.
So I've got a youth update this morning, and I wanted really to just begin with just so much gratitude for all of you that support us in our fundraisers. We've had 2 fundraisers this year. We sold Easter candy at Easter from C's, and last Sunday we finished up our jewelry sale, which was amazing. And I think combined, we made a little over $2,000, and I'll update you. Yeah. And I just want to thank you all, like everyone who gave jewelry, everyone who bought jewelry, all of you that did both, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's always such a fun event that I enjoy so much, and seeing you all so happy. It was great. And I just want you to know that those funds are used in such a wonderful way here. We, last Saturday, we had a one-day rally here at Spiritual Life Center, and we invite the teens from the Western region that goes all the way to Fresno. But realistically, it's Vacaville, Marin, Walnut Creek, and us. And we have the 2 regional officers for our region are here at Spiritual Life Center, Kiki Crawford and Becky McPhee, and they did an amazing job. And I wanted to share with you one of our activities, just so you can get a sense of what we do here. Becky's part of the project was, first of all, the rally's theme was "We Are One." And I don't know if you all know what an escape room is. I didn't. So for those of you that don't, you are put into a locked room and you're given clues. And one clue leads to something that holds the next clue and the next clue and the next clue until you finally get a key to get out of the room. So when we did it, at each clue where they found the next clue, they also found a puzzle piece. And we had 4 escape rooms. And so the kids gathered these puzzle pieces from the 4 rooms, and we met back in here. And at the last piece with their key, they also got an envelope that contained the golden rule from all of the major world religions. So we came back into the room, the kids put the puzzle together, and then we recited the golden rule from all the religions and clipped them on our little tree that's in youth ed. And it was just such a powerful experience and such a fun way for these kids to experience God within themselves. So thank you all for all the ways that you support our youth, because we have a good group right now, and I'm just so excited. So thank you. And I wanted to, thank you. And I wanted to end by saying that many of you know already, but I'm taking the summer off. And I'm spending a lot of time with family. I'm babysitting my grandkids this summer. And so I wanted to just put the word out there. If there's any of you that would like to serve in any capacity, nursery, youth ed, or with our teens while I'm gone, please get a hold of Elaine and give her a hand this summer. It's usually kind of our lowest time, but we do still have kids coming. So if that speaks to your heart, please talk to Elaine, and I'll be back in September, just raring to go. So thank you so much.
Janae, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done for our youth department, and so much you've done for SLC. And I also commend you on taking care of yourself. That's really important. Thank you. So remember, there are many activities here at SLC that foster transformation in our lives. So check out our small weekly groups and other offerings. The happenings are on our website, of course. If you're here in person, you can go to the courtyard. There's a bulletin board. There's the people at the hub, although I believe that the hub is not going to be open after service, so that you can register for, or get ready for the meeting. So now, we come to a spiritual community and one of the to connect. And so this is an opportunity for you to now stand and greet each other in any way that you feel comfortable.
righty. Well, y'all can have a seat for a moment. And it is my honor, my plum-pleasing pleasure to introduce our 2023-2024 prayer chaplains and introduce you to our spiritual family today. Yes, let's acknowledge them and appreciate them. We're going to have a chance to really dedicate their service for this upcoming year. So people sometimes may ask, well, what do chaplains do? What do they do? Well, it's really a year of sacred service that they provide for our community. They hold the high watch and support our congregation and the Friends of Spiritual Life Center through prayer, which is the foundation of what any spiritual community worth its salt is about. And to accomplish their mission, what they do, they commit to about 50 hours of training and many more hours of service throughout the year. And I think when they do this, they not only receive, but they also give and receive. It's kind of how that thing works. And they do this because we recognize the profound impact that prayer indeed has on our lives. It is probably the most powerful technology that we can use to help transform our lives. And so we're going to have a dedication to them today. So I'm going to ask the chaplains a few questions and see if they are listening. Do you commit to a spiritual journey based upon love and prayer?
Yes.
Do you commit to support the congregation and ministry knowing God is ever present?
Yes.
Do you commit to hold Spiritual Life Center in loving, confidential prayer throughout the next year?
Yes.
Well, at this time, I'd like you to put your stoles on one another. And I want you all, as they're doing that, to simply welcome our prayer chaplain family and community, and to appreciate them for the upcoming service in this new chaplain year, this 2023-2024 year, and how time passes. So we have a song that we sing. The dedication song expresses the prayer chaplain's desire to serve the presence of God. And we invite you to join in if you'd like to, or just sit back and take in the love, chaplains, as we sing this song of dedication to your service. Your Spiritual Life Center chaplains.
All right, let's take stand. We're going to sing one of our favorite songs. wonderful world. What a wonderful world. Have to add that extra on there. Be extra.
All right. So at this time, I invite you to get settled into your chair, and we're going to speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now we're going to sing this beautiful chant by Richard Burdick. God is here. God is now.
God is here, God is now, God is all. God is alive within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. God is here, God is now, God is all. God is alive within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. God is here, God is now, God is all. God is alive within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right. All is perfect and right. All is perfect and right in my world.
As we move into our time of meditation, let's breathe together. Breathing in the vibration of that beautiful chant deep into your belly. Breathing in and breathing out. God is here. God is now. God is all. God's the life within my heart. And all is perfect and right in my world. Feel that truth resonating in your soul. All is perfect and right in my world. Perfect to awaken each of us to the truth of our being. Everything that happens, everything happens to wake us up to who we really are, to discover and to know this love at depth. It was Meister Eckhart who prayed the prayer, "Dear God, please remove from me all my ideas about you and allow me to experience you fully." And that's our prayer, dear God. Remove all our ideas of you, that we may experience you fully. Right here, right now. Breathing in, God is. Breathing out, I am. God is. I am. Allow your breath to carry you deeper and deeper into the core of your being, to that place where we feel the presence of God. God rising to meet us as we turn to that presence within, joining with silence. We can't create silence. We can only create sound. And all sound arises from the infinite silence. Silence is. God is. I am. Centered in God, one with the flow. Every word, every act is spirit expressing itself through you. You are the prayer that God prays. Breathe that in. You are the prayer that God prays. God is awake in you, as you, always has been. Thank you, God, for this awareness of you. As we experience your presence, God, we remember who we're meant to be, who we're destined to be. You're meant to shine, to unfold and reveal your natural beauty of spirit, to express your unique gifts. Many times, we get caught up in thinking that our gifts need to be big, that what we have to offer isn't enough or isn't holy. Look deeply into yourself and know that no gift is small. No part of yourself is insignificant. All your gifts are meant to be shared and are all important in the eyes of God. The gift of listening, of being there for a friend, our gifts of thoughtfulness and caring, simply your gift of being, of presence. Your being is enough. And actually, it's all there is. You are the prayer that God prays. Be still. Let God be God in you, through you. Your soul has come to earth to birth these gifts, to bless your life and to bless the world. And so we slow down. We stop. We take time to listen in the silence, to listen to the deeper realms of wisdom and truth within us. As we move into the silence, we listen, and not just with our ears. We listen with our entire being, open to you, God. The deepest call of the human heart is the draw towards our true nature, the draw towards that place of wholeness, the call to reconnect, to rediscover, to remember the essence of all that you are. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. We're grateful for all the ways that this spiritual community brings us home. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there is release. In a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy presence I find God. I find myself.
Thank you, Carol.
It's been an interesting morning. Paula just came back from vacation, and thank you for coming back.
I could be on a beach right now.
And so one of our vocalists had to drop out midweek, and then the other one this morning. And so I came in, and Paula was rearranging, finding different music to just be instrumental, and she figured that out. And then two members, Joella and Sandra, said that they would come up and help sing. And so they came up at the very last minute. So we had some help with the chant and the group song and everything. And then Carol just sort of popped out of wherever Carol pops out of and said, "I'll come for the 11 o'clock service." So Paula rearranged music again. But you know why? What? I mean, all of that co-creation, ladies and gentlemen, that's what SLC is about. So it's a slow day at the pearly gates. St. Peter is kicked back, reading his favorite magazine, the newest issue called Halos and Harps. Nobody on the schedule. And then two souls appear. He's like, "Hello, why are you here? There's no one supposed to be here." "Well, we're here." And he looks, and he says, "Neither one of you are supposed to be here. It's too early." And the souls are like, "Well, I don't know what to do. This is my first time, And so, he calls upstairs, and he has this conversation. And then he comes back, and he said, "Well, somehow you were taken by mistake. So we can send you back. But your bodies aren't available anymore. So we're going to give you a choice. You can go back as anything that you want." So he looks at the first soul, and the first soul says, "I always really needed some freedom in my life, and I admire wildlife. I would like to go back and eagle and soar again across the mountains and feel free for the rest of my life." And St. Peter says, "Okay," he's gone. He looks at the other soul, and the other soul looks at him and says, "You know what? I was never really successful with women. I think I want to go back, and I want to be a stud." Waves his hand, and off they go. So a few, months or weeks, I don't know how time works in heaven. A while later, St. Peter gets called into the office, and God says, "So how's it going with those two that we sent back?" And St. Peter says, "Well, the first one is doing really well. They're just having a blast. They're just soaring over mountains, and they're helping, increase the population, and it's wonderful." And God says, "Well, what about the other one?" "Well, that's not going so well." And God says, "Well, why not?" He says, "Well, he's on a snow tire in Alaska." No, okay, so that man's prayer didn't fail, right? But perhaps he didn't think it through very well either. Eric, shall we just sit and laugh for a minute? Okay. Eric Butterworth wrote that prayer is deeply misunderstood because it's looked upon what he calls a court of last resort. It's used to get an external, judgmental, parental God to jump in and fix everything to be just the way you want it to be. And when that doesn't happen, God gets a 1-star review. Or maybe, I would give it no stars, but that's not an option. And the futility of such an approach is clearly seen in the sports arena. You have two teams. Supporters are praying for each team to win. And you may wonder, what criteria does God use to decide which team will win? By the quality of the play? By God's preference for the uniforms? Or perhaps God will judge the supporters so that the team with the most sin-free supporters will win. I mean, that sounds absurd, but it's the only logical conclusion if you are looking to the outside, an outside source for your support. The winner of a sports contest will win because of their skill and the level of their consciousness. And if a team has low self-esteem and they have doubts about their ability, chances are they won't win. And I'm guessing that sports teams spend a lot of money on psychologists and other support people for a reason. The key to real prayer, to co-creating your life, comes from knowing that we are creations of infinite intelligence, which we sometimes call God. It's not an external force acting upon us, but the energy of infinite possibilities working within us. And it is always working for us if we let it. Or more precisely, when we become aware and learn to call on and use our innate ability to guide our lives. The kind of prayer that Butterworth talks about is the kind where you turn your thoughts to the good in something. And yeah, it's really easy to make this sound Pollyanna and unrealistic. But I suspect that everybody in this room has had some situation where you got caught up in the circumstance, and then for some reason, something changed your perspective, and you saw it in a new light. And like Emily Litella from the Saturday Night Live, you'd say, well, that's different. We get caught up in events. We pile so many thoughts that they seem real, they seem solid, they seem unmovable. And when we focus on the problem, that's all that we can see. And in a very real way, we become a part of the problem. Not because we are bad or intending to be part of the problem, but because, as Charles Haanel said, a part must be in the same in kind as the whole. The only difference is a matter of degree. And as an example, he offers water. It manifests as ice, steam, and water as a liquid. They're all part of the whole, but there's a difference in degree. And we use water in its different forms for different things. It's the same thing. This means that you are always part of a situation. It's how you identify with it and foster it that makes the difference. When we face something and get caught up in the drama and run around talking about it to everyone we can find, we are operating from the perspective of the problem. We'll write a whole story about it and pile up those thoughts into what seems real and solid and unmovable. Now, why does this happen? Partly it's because we live in an ain't it awful culture. And we are, most of us, addicted to drama on one level or another, although I think all humans are addicted to drama. And sometimes it's just easier to kind of go with what we consider the flow of worry and fretting. But mostly, it's because underneath all that other stuff lies fear. And fear can freeze us. It can just stop us in our tracks. Fear comes because we feel like we're out of control. Or we remember another time this happened, and we remember what happened then, and we're afraid it's going to happen again. It'll go the same way. Or maybe we're those people who believe that we should always prepare for the worst, and we're ready, so that makes us ready for anything. But honestly, all that does is create more fear. Now, some people call fear the enemy, and I've seen it written with a capital E. But I don't like to think that way because I think it gives fear too much power. Fear comes in when I forget who I am, when I forget that infinite intelligence is living and moving in and through me. But when we get off balance and fear sets in, we make up a story about what is happening and why and how it's going to go, and we just keep going and. We tell everybody. Now, it'd be really easy for me to stand here and say, simply remember who you are, don't let it get to you, stop telling your stories. But that would be unfair and silly because we live by a story, by our thoughts, our words, our actions. What we need to do is be aware that our stories are a direct reflection of our vibration, and our vibration is a direct reflection of our stories. Cannot separate them. So real prayer is simply changing perspective and coming at a situation from the consciousness of possibility, the consciousness of infinite intelligence. But how do we do that? The life and ministry of Jesus shows us many examples of how to operate from God consciousness. Now, I looked this up before I decided to put this in here, but there are no accounts of Jesus sitting down with a person with a cup of tea, crossing his legs and saying, okay, tell me all about it. Uh-huh, uh-huh. And then what did your mother-in-law say? Uh-huh, uh-huh. Tell me more. There's no conversation like that with Jesus in the Bible. Jesus said things like, do you want to be healed? And when the answer was yes, done. The woman who touched his hem, he said, your faith has made you well. And he said this to more than one person. And when someone came to him and told him that another man's daughter had died, Jesus said, do not fear, only believe, and she will be healed. And then yet there was another man, because the men were always bringing their sons to Jesus to be healed, but that's another conversation. Anyway, if another man brought his son to Jesus to be healed, and he walked up to Jesus and said, if you're able. And Jesus said, if you're able, all things can be done for one who believes. And the man then said, I believe, help my unbelief. That man changed his perspective. Maybe not all at once, and maybe not completely, but enough for him to see the possibility and accept that his son could be healed. And his son was healed. Now, I said before that the real key to prayer, to co-creating your life, comes from knowing that we are creations of infinite intelligence, God. It's not an external force acting upon us, but the energy of infinite possibilities working within us. I don't think I can say that enough times. We are always working from inside the situation, and we cannot become separate, but we can turn around and look in a different direction. Jesus was really good at getting people to see things from a different angle. In the last example of the man who asked if Jesus was able to heal his son, we see that that man had a story that it might not be possible. He had doubt. But Jesus had a different version of that same story, and upon hearing it, that man was able to change his perspective, and he started looking at it from the solution as opposed from the problem. So what things can we do to become more effective into seeing the possible? When we recognize the power in our stories, we're more than halfway there. No matter what's going on, if you take time to listen to yourself, you may notice that you are deeply into solving a problem from the perspective of the problem. Now, please note that I am not saying to pretend like the thing isn't happening. It's happening. But if you can learn to see it differently, that's the point. Also, sitting down and talking with someone else can be helpful. Oh, wait, didn't I just spend 5 minutes telling you to stop running around telling people things? I did. The key word here is everyone. That running around and telling your story to anybody who will listen. But it can be a very good practice to find one or two people that you trust to support you. And I don't mean to tell you that you're right. I remember many years ago, I was probably in my 30s, and something had happened at work, and I was going to drive home, and I was going to call my friend, and I was going to talk about it. And I picked up the phone, and it was the olden days, and so I was punching in the numbers, and I had about half the numbers in it, and I started to laugh because I realized I was not calling her for perspective. I was calling her to have her tell me I was right. And so with that realization, when I finally got my friend on the phone, it was a very different conversation that it would have been if I hadn't had that realization. So this isn't about finding someone to tell you you're right. It's about someone to help you look at your story and see if there's another way to look at it. The goal is to shift your vision to what is possible, what can be. When you get that story out from in front of you, it's easier to see what you can do with the situation. So sure, tell your story, but only to one or two people, and then stop. You may have noticed that when you ask a prayer chaplain or a minister to pray with you, They don't engage in a detailed conversation about what's going on. And even if you kind of try and start to go that direction, they gently begin to pray by tuning into infinite intelligence and affirming that the perfect solution is here now. Because when you pray from the perspective of the solution, the details, honestly, are irrelevant. The details put you back squarely in the middle of the problem. Now, some of you may have noticed also that after someone has prayed with you or done some spiritual counseling, we will never approach you and ask you how that thing is going. And that's because we have that someone who's worked with you has activated infinite intelligence for all involved in the situation. And then they let it go. Someone has helped you step out of the vortex of doom and shown you another way to approach a situation. And then they let it go, and they do not revisit it. That doesn't mean that you might not need to pray for something more than one time, because it takes us a while to shift our consciousness. But the telling of the story stops. And we also, none of us ever makes a promise that the situation will change. We don't sell the idea that the outside world will change to suit us. And we cannot, I am so sorry to tell you this, we cannot change other people, no matter how much we might want to. We can only change our perspective. And in that, in turn, can change how we respond to a person. Back in the early 1980s, I was living in Salt Lake City, and I was involved minimally in a Unity church there. And there was another woman who was, I think, a little bit younger than me, and there was something about our energies. If we were in the same room, we didn't even have to talk to each other. But if we said hello to each other, one of us was offended and had to go stomping off. And so I decided that my best option on that was to just simply not engage. And if I saw her, I would wave, but I withdrew from it because I didn't know what else to do. Well, how many people remember EST? Earhart training? Okay, it was a training seminar that people went through, and it probably still exists, but it was pretty brutal, but a lot of people in Salt Lake City were going through it. Well, this woman went through that program. And one day I walked in and she was there and there was nothing, so I greeted her and we had this lovely conversation. And I'm like, okay. And she turned around to somebody and she said, "Deborah has changed so much." I had done nothing but step back and allow it to be and decide I wasn't going to engage. That's the only thing that I did. But she had some sort of shift, and she saw me completely differently. And no, we didn't become best friends, but we learned to work together. And that was, that was good enough for me. Does it take some work to learn to start seeing things from the solution instead of the problem? Sure. And especially if you're feeling overwhelmed by something big or even something little. Sometimes it's the little things that really get to us. It takes that stepping back, taking a breath, and looking at how you're reacting. And so some ways to help move in that direction. Remember that God, infinite intelligence, is always and everywhere present. There is nothing that isn't that intelligence, the air, the everything. You're sitting on infinite intelligence. Everything is that. It's like when you go to a faucet to get a glass of water, you don't pray for water. You don't need to beg, cajole, or bribe the water to come out of the pipes. All you have to do is turn the handle and the water flows. Divine energy, God, is constantly flowing. You don't even need to turn it on. You simply need to step into the stream and allow it to guide you. All you need to do is say yes. If you're carrying around a bundle of ain't it awfuls, your hands are full, your mind is full. And it becomes so big you can't see around it. And so you stumble, and then things start to escalate. But when you put that bundle down, all of a sudden your arms are free, and you can see ahead of you. And what is ahead of you are possibilities, some of which you can imagine, but others that are so amazing that you never would have thought of them. How should we pray then? Eric Butterworth recommends that we put an end to prayer. By that, he means to turn away from begging, cajoling, and looking outside ourselves for answers and embrace our wholeness. He says that the most effective prayer treatment is to get the mind stayed, tuned in, and then make an end to prayer by simply saying and accepting, let there be health. Let there be substance. Let there be harmony in place of discord, joy in place of sorrow, courage in place of fear. Stop trying, stop wishing. Instead, accept your own infinite intelligence and accept by saying the most effective prayer, the one that can not ever fail you, and that is, let there be. And so it is. So next week, Reverend James will be speaking about how to turn your life around, and apparently I'm doing the meditation, so I'll be here too. And we officially have Carol Manson next week. So remember that our chaplains, all of whom you have seen this morning, wear the white stoles, and they will be in the courtyard to pray with you after the service. And I believe you also have a cake out there, don't you? All right, so go get some cake. And also on that same lines, after the postlude, if you could please move out of the sanctuary so that we can get ready for the annual meeting. And go pick up your wristbands. Don't wait until like 5 minutes before. Go pick up your wristbands, and then you can wander around and do whatever you want. So we also love to greet our newcomers, and so in a moment I'll ask you to raise your hands. But first we want you to know there are many ways to become connected at Spiritual Life Center, and one of the ways to do that is to fill out the welcome card. That welcome card is available online, and you can go to our website, fill it out, submit it, and we will get back to you. And if you're here in person, we'll ask you to raise your hand and keep it up. We will bring you that card. You can fill it out and take it to the welcome table. So do we have any new people here? Anybody who's here for the first time today? Okay, we're all family here today, and as Reverend James says, is if you're a different person today than you were yesterday, we're all new, and so I welcome you back. And so, it is now our opportunity to support Spiritual Life Center. And if you want to support us by going to text SLC Love at 443-221, and you can donate that way. You can go to our website, click on donate. You can obviously mail the donation in as well. And if you want to continue to spread this consciousness and bring more people into this, onto the online community, click like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever the app you're on asks you to do. And now, for those of us here, let us say our offering blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
And we are always praying choose a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and I know that God is always there, and every thought becomes a prayer. My life's a prayer, and I am always praying. My life's a prayer. I'm careful what I'm saying. I choose a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and I know that God is always there, and I know that my God is always there, and every thought becomes a prayer. Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Deborah, for that reminder. Indeed, every thought is a prayer, and it is our consciousness that reminds us of what we can manifest in our life. And we take this moment to give thanks and appreciation for those who have supported Spiritual Life Center with their gift, with their love offering. Know that it comes from the heart, and anything that is given is really a shadow of divine and perfect love to provide a place for those who are seeking to grow, develop, and unfold into the very best that they can be. And we realize that we are all one in the Spirit, seeking to do the same thing. We acknowledge those who have left their prayers in the prayer box today or throughout the week. For we are reminded that we all have challenges along the way in this thing called life. And when we cannot figure them out on our own, we can release and let go to that presence, that power, that love that has the answer even before we know what the prayer that we need answered is presented. As the statement goes, before they call, I have already answered you. For this presence only knows divine and perfect spiritual solutions, and what we do is raise our awareness, our vibration, our energy to be one with this divine solution. And we see how the Spirit of God reveals itself in ways we never imagined. So we say the prayer has already been answered for each individual who has left their prayer request. And the same is for us. As we go forth doing our part to anchor the all good in our life, through every thought we have, every word we speak, every action that we take, we can say that this presence and I and all of us are one, and all is well. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, let's take this time to affirm that important prayer, that prayer for protection, and just embody it as if you're speaking it for the very first time, and know it is the truth of who and what we really are. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now let's sing our peace song.
With God as creator.
Peace and blessings to you. If you're going to be around for the meeting, come back and enjoy some cake with the chaplains.